Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Joe Palmer begins now.
Good evening, everyone. We begin with a major development tonight in the case of an alleged murder where a body was found at Richmond last weekend. Police have now charged a 14-year-old girl who had been taken into custody following the death of the father of 2. Our reporter Louise Hedger joins us now. Good evening, Louise. What are the latest details?
Joe, late this afternoon, police confirmed a 14-year-old girl has been charged with being an accessory after the fact to murder. Last Sunday, the body of a 22-year-old man was found on the side of the road in Richmond with a gunshot wound to his head. 2 people were arrested yesterday, including that teenage girl. Because of her young age, she appeared in a court today, but it was a closed session. She didn't apply for bail and tonight remains in police custody. Also in custody is a 29-year-old man who police say is still assisting them with their inquiries. He's yet to be charged with anything as investigations continue into this developing case. Detectives saying they believe there are other people involved in this alleged crime and those people are urged to turn themselves in, Joe.
OK, thanks so much for that report. Louise Hedger joining us there. Another day of campaigning has rolled through Tasmania, with the Prime Minister writing more cheques for the health system. Liberal Party faithful rallied near Launceston, while Labor renewed calls for Australian Federal Police to return to Hobart Airport.
Taking a break on the road to Election Day, Scott Morrison announces $8 million for driver reviver sites as he tries to steer his government towards victory.
Well, this looks like a nice ride.
Today, the party faithful rallied at a Royal Flying Doctor Service hangar, where the Prime Minister made this announcement.
Today, I'm announcing $25.6 million more for our Tasmanian health package.
$25 million, he says, is better spent on the North West Regional Hospital and community health, rather than Labor's plan to give the same amount to the AFL for a Tassie side. Speaking to 7 Tasmania News, the PM says the league already has enough money.
Well, that's up to the AFL. And the AFL is one of the most wealthy sporting bodies in Australia. But I'm running to be Prime Minister, not Commissioner of the AFL.
Meanwhile, Labor called for Australian Federal Police to return to Hobart Airport, even before the redevelopment.
There are 5 Australian Federal Police officers today who are providing federal policing for this entire state. Labor will increase this to 21.
Doing that will cost $15 million over 4 years. The AFP Association isn't happy with Tasmania Police responding to airport incidents.
They're not here on location. They have to come to this location. So anything critical, anything urgent, they have to wait for the Tasmanian Police to arrive. And anything can happen in that time. People's lives can be put at risk, evidence can be lost. Those are things we have to deal with.
The government has pledged to restore officers as part of the Hobart City deal. Scott Morrison still considers himself the underdog going into May 18, and rallies like these show just how seriously the government is taking Tasmania when it comes to holding on to power. How confident are you your government can win a Tasmanian seat?
Well, these are things that are up to the people of Tasmania. And what we've set out today, our plan for Tasmania, which will keep its economy strong but also invest in important health services.
A message he has one more month to sell. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
3 people have been charged after a fight broke out at a Deloraine church last month. A 38-year-old man and 77-year-old woman were allegedly pushed and grabbed by 3 others at the Holy Redeemer Catholic Church on March 30. A man and woman from Elizabethtown, aged 75 and 76, and a 38-year-old man from Denallan have all been charged with assault. They will appear in the Launceston Magistrates Court at a later date. A Tasmanian mum has spoken out about her child's rare medical condition in the hope of assisting other parents. Her 5-year-old was born with Sturge-Weber syndrome, meaning he has to travel to Melbourne for treatment not offered here in their home state.
A typical 5-year-old, Frankie loves his Lego, his backyard cubby and barracking for 2 footy teams.
The Cats and the Saints.
The only thing different about this little man is he's living with a rare medical condition. It's called Sturge-Weber syndrome and can affect up to 1 in 50,000 people.
Which is port wine stain over his left eye, and also he has seizures and glaucoma involved in this as well.
But Frankie has his own name for it.
Leopard spot.
It's unpredictable and it's progressive.
It's something that's not everything is known about it, so it's a bit of a surprise sometimes what's going to happen next.
Twice a year, Frankie receives treatment at the Royal Children's Hospital in Melbourne.
He copes really well with it. We've had really positive experiences every time we've been there. It's an amazing place.
The family is hoping to raise awareness of the condition and is undergoing its own fundraising drive for the hospital's Good Friday appeal.
It allows those kids to be able to enjoy and benefit from all the things from the Children's Hospital because it's such a great place.
Urging others to donate to help little people just like him. Louise Hedger, 7 Tasmania News.
You're about to meet a super fit man who makes swinging from ropes and bars look easy. The dedicated CrossFit champion is one of 3 Tasmanians preparing to represent Australia at a global competition next month.
At 28, Mason Doherty is as committed as they come when it comes to CrossFit. That dedication earning him a spot on the Australian team for the 2019 Down Under Championship.
The qualifying process for that was through an online competition called the CrossFit Open. There was about 10,000 people from Australia who participated in that. To get there, I had to finish in the top 40, and I was able to finish 14th, which was really cool.
Mason will join 2 other Tasmanians, Lucy Woodbury and Kath Olahosky, in representing the nation against some of the best in the world.
There will be people from different countries, Australia, New Zealand, people coming from America, Argentina, there are lots of different countries of people representing, and then from various states as well.
No stranger to competing on the national stage, Mason is quick to praise those who've made it for the first time.
Yeah, I'm stoked to see Lucy get after it as well, as she's worked so hard. Just as hard as what I have over the years. She started with me in 2011.
The initial motivation for his passion overcoming his own demons after he was bullied at one stage for his weight.
I was a big kid, if I'm being honest, and I definitely got picked on a little bit.
Those who train with the gym owner are keen to see just how far he can take it this year.
I think he's going to go pretty well, yeah. I always see him training hard. He's always focused on what he wants to do and usually achieves it. So I think he's going to go pretty well.
And as for the next few weeks, Mason says he'll be busy training alongside his #1 fan.
My dog, Logan, he's my best friend, my training buddy. He's just there with me all the time, just chilling.
The championship will get underway in Wollongong on May 17. Jessie Gilmore, 7 Tasmania News.
The state's leading boating authority is urging Tasmanians to get their vessels checked before hitting the water this Easter long weekend. It's a popular time for trips out to sea, and one builder says unseaworthy boats can prove fatal.
This may look like a safe vessel from the outside, but when checked this morning, Suzanne discovered that wasn't the case.
We found that the actual back end of the boat, where the stern is and so forth, where the motors are, is actually given way.
A chilling reminder of what could have happened.
So if we were to take it out onto the water, particularly this weekend, yes, we would have lost probably the back end and the motors, and we would have been a casualty, unfortunately.
With Easter being one of the most popular boating periods for the state, those in the industry warn of the dangers of unseaworthy boats.
When something goes wrong out there, you can't just step out and walk to the nearest servo. So you really need to make sure that everything is right before you take off, because there's no second chances out there, and freak accidents do happen on the water.
Probably the best bit of safety gear you've got is your own boat. So make sure you're doing those essential checks on your boat, corrosion in aluminium boats, cracks in the fiberglass on GRP boats.
And you should always check your safety equipment when preparing for a trip out to sea.
So it's really important that those going out on the water continue to do their pre-wear life jacket checks, making sure their gas cylinder is in tight, making sure all the boating safety gear is up to scratch and ready for the next 4 or 5 days.
Ruby Kamane, 7 Tasmania News.
A Glenorchy garden centre has enjoyed the Easter spirit, hosting a secret garden party in the name of charity. Stoneman's Garden Centre setting up games and putting on some tasty treats to raise money for the Cancer Council.
We certainly like the social interaction that it brings and a good cause, and my father passed away from cancer and that's symbolic for us as well, so it's just a nice way for our garden centre to do other things in the community.
The centre raised more than $5,000 for cancer research, almost double what they had hoped for. Tasmanian Alkaloids has announced next season's poppy crop will increase by 65%. The company will now harvest over 8,000 hectares of poppies, with 2 of the 4 varieties also expected to fetch a higher price. Tasmania supplies around half of the globe's raw alkaloids. And Tasmania is bucking the trend when it comes to job advertisements. The latest data from SEEK shows the number of jobs being advertised in the state grew by 15.5% in the last year. Nationally, job ads declined by 4.7%. The only other state to record an increase is Western Australia.
The TSL's Eastern Shore rivals are ready to fight it out in what always proves to be one of the most fiercely contested games of the season. Lauderdale will be hoping to stay undefeated, but they'll face a hungry Clarence outfit looking to salvage some pride. Following a strong showing against the reigning premiers in round 2, the Roos cracked under Glenorchy's heavy pressure last weekend, going down by 62 points. But the side's coach refused to blame it on youth and inexperience.
We can't just say that it's our 8 young players or 9 young players. The more experienced players have to perform better as well.
The Bombers are flying after getting it done by 26 points over Kingborough last Saturday to make it 3 wins from 3 matches.
It's good to get a 3-0 start as opposed to the last 2 years where we've been 0-3 and chasing our tail. So we've got some runs on the board early, and I think you just see that through the maturity of the leadership group now.
Weberley says expect a far more competitive performance from the Roos on their home deck this Saturday after being overrun by the Pies 10 goals to 2 in the first quarter.
Our young players learned what it's like to go up against probably the best team in the state at the moment, so they'll take a lot out of that game. First 6 weeks isn't going to be the catalyst of our season, that's for sure.
I'm sure Jez would have been pretty disappointed with the way they responded to that game, so I'm sure they'll be trying to turn it around this week.
The sides lose around 10 young guns in total for the clash, however, due to Tasmanian Devils' commitments in the NAB League.
What are you replacing them with? At the moment, we've got a few guys on the sidelines that we think are well and truly in our best 22. We haven't had them for the whole practice matches, nor round 1 or round 2.
Count on those guys being quite a young competition across the board. When you lose that talent week in, you've got to try and replace them.
The opening bounce is at 2 p.m. To soccer, and the Glenorchy Knights will be out for redemption against old rivals Olympia tomorrow night when the sides meet in their round of 16 Lacus Seljack Cup clash. The sides met in the same stage of the competition last year, with Olympia getting up in a penalty shootout. In 2017, the sides met in the Cup Decider, with Olympia also emerging victorious.
Something that we look back on as a missed opportunity, but at the same time, we really look forward to playing against good quality sides.
Cup competitions, anything can happen, and we're under no illusions just how tough it's going to be tomorrow night. We know that. We're prepared. And we're more than ready to go there and get the win.
The match begins at 7 p.m. at Warrior Park. And the Southern Huskies have played out a thriller in their first game of the season in the New Zealand NBL. Playing against the Manawatu Jets, the Huskies held on in a frantic final minute of play to win by a single point. The final score was 100-99. Great news for them. Tasmanian cyclist Anya Lau will have a chance to shine on the sports world stage after being selected in the Cycling Australia team for the Belgian Winter Road Racing Program. Lau joins 3 other riders from across the country, with the team set to compete in a series of criteriums and road tours across July and August. It's set to be an historic day for Tasmanian harness racing tomorrow, with Hobart set to host the first ever Good Friday harness meet in the country's history.
Interesting opportunity for the club. Tas Racing discussed it with us last year and we put the date in, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we get a good crowd and good betting turnover.
Racing begins at Elwick at 3 p.m. tomorrow, with the Mowbray Racecourse then set to host the annual Easter Cup on Saturday night.
Good evening. Well, a bit of a change over the past 24 hours. Our warmest temperature today, just 19 at Friendly Beaches. Hobart and Burnie made 17 degrees, Launceston and Devonport 18. Now, the southwesterly winds that followed the cold front produced a cooler aspect around the state. Flinders Island 18, Smithton and Low Head 17, King Island, Danuz 16, Grove 15 today, Lyoweeney just 9, and the best rain overnight was 63 millimetres at Howard's Plains near Queenstown in the Henty River catchment area. Today's totals all fairly minor. Now, the front quickly passed, which saw this low-level convective cloud stream over the state in that patchy stream, the cold air mass across Tasmania. The front now off to the east of the state, still over eastern Victoria, some patchy cloud evident over the coasts of New South Wales and Queensland, more cloud over the far west coast of the nation with a front to the southwest. Tomorrow, the high moves near the state, extending a ridge over the eastern half of the mainland. A cold front moves over Western Australia. The wind's variable at 5 to 15 knots, tending northeasterly at 15 to 20 knots over the north and swells to 3 metres. Into the long weekend forecast, sunny for Hobart tomorrow, 18 degrees, 19 for Huonville, a cool start, and 19 the top for Campania. Also a cool start, just 3 overnight. 4 for Launceston, warming up to 20 tomorrow, 18 the top for Devonport, sunny for Georgetown and 19 degrees. For Burnie, a high of 18, mostly sunny as well, okay in the west as well, Strawn 18 along with Wynyard. And for the east tomorrow, St Helens can expect 18 degrees, a bit of cloud about but fine, 18 also for Swansea, Port Arthur 17. On Saturday, fine after some morning fog, just the chance of a shower over the northeast later. A shower over the north on Sunday, mainly fine otherwise until showers develop in the evening, and early showers on Monday easing and contracting to the west and far south. A possible storm and just 16 degrees in Perth tomorrow. A sunny 31 in Adelaide, fine for Melbourne, partly cloudy in Canberra and Sydney, showers in Brisbane and sunny for Darwin. Mostly clear at the moment, 11 degrees in Hobart, bit of cloud over Launceston 13, partly cloudy in Devonport and 12. Now, Joe, I'm not doing it again, but I did today. I got out there amongst the shoppers who must have thought that all the shops are going to be shut for the next month, the way they were carrying on. Can't get anywhere in the traffic, but I did do a lot of hard shopping for you, so happy Easter, there's your egg.
I'll take whatever I can get. Thank you very much. That's all from the team. Now he's throwing it at me. That's all from us for now. Thanks so much. Good night.